What the fuck? Alright. It's the right account. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you, Gwen. I am doing well. Hello, Wolf. Please don't kill my small herda. Please don't kill my small herda. That's all I say, man. Sure. Endgame on Rob. I'm not gonna be able to make it far. Not because I can't kill them in like enough cycles, but like the higher level mobs do more damage. And the relics I have on most of my characters are genuinely just at the floor. So the second I face like a enemy that does a lot of fucking damage at once, then it's kind of just over. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just doing this for like out of boredom, to be honest. I don't want the Robin hit to hit this guy. Oh, no zero cycle, unfortunate. Maybe if I saved Gallagher's ult, I would have zero cycled that. Actually, I should have healed small herda, whatever. This monkey is a bigger problem. The second he starts targeting because of skills, I'm just dead. Oh, great. Saved. Saved. Oh wait, that was a mistake. He's gonna get back up. Oh, I need a guaranteed kill him here. There we go. Robin is E1S1. I don't know what I have on Himiko. I I don't remember if I got her on a lost 50-50 or not. I think I did though. Maybe? I'm not sure. But I think I might have an E1 Himiko and that's it. Hello, Gio. Wait. There's no way my Serval is going to be able to do this. That damage is just terrible, man. I need to get my Serval on Scholar. Oh, fuck you. Whatever, whatever, whatever. Serval gets ult very easily, it's fine. Oh, he only summons two. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just use this to make her do a follow-up. That's my bad. I forgot Argenti even has that. Only Argenti I know is from APOC. And I always kill him with E2S1 Herda. Give true damage to Tribby. Any more info about Caster's V3? Not really, no. There was a fake leak from the guy who keeps it, or a fake leak from the guy who it basically insisted Sunday was ass with every new DPS, and his track record is completely terrible, saying that Castris would get nerfed in V3, but her Eidolons would get stronger. But I don't think that makes any sense. If anything, I honestly think it should be the opposite, because her later Eidolons like helps the team pretty massively. So and currently she's like not that strong. Like she just isn't that strong. So making her even weaker than she currently is like, what the fuck are we doing here, right? Unless they're really, really trying to sell Castris Maide plus Tribby, like it just doesn't make much sense. No, I don't play Marvel Rivals. Yeah, I know, Noko. I already posted it. I think that uncle's legit, but commentates terribly. I don't think he's legit, because everything he said is wrong is the problem. He said by day, or he said Sunday would suck ass with Aglaya when we didn't have Aglaya gameplay leaks. And then he said Sunday would suck with Castris, but currently the two strongest teams with Castris are either Tribby x RMC or Tribby plus Sunday or RMC plus Sunday. Like those are the three strongest teams in the game for Castris. So I don't know how to feel about it, because that guy just everything he says is wrong. Yeah. Oh, I don't like that damage. But yeah, someone told me to keep using it on Tribby, so I'll give it a shot. Um, I'm pretty sure it's probably better if I use it on Serval. Yeah, it's 100% better if I use it on Serval. What do y'all think about a Noxus kit? Complete garbage. Like, he's genuinely so ass. I just watched a video against the banana boss, and a person barely managed to zero cycle using Anoxa E0S1 plus E0S1 Herda, but when they used Jade, they had like 3 actions left and a Herda enhanced skill left, and they still zero cycled, like without using the enhanced skill, without using the last 3 to 4 turns. Anoxa is currently like complete shit compared to Jade. This is almost on Rob, yeah. I can break this guy with arms. Oh, never mind. All of us on Reddit legit think he hates Sunday. I mean, he just has to, bro. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's one thing, right? It's one thing to say Sunday wouldn't work with casters, right? That's already, like, pretty dumb. But that's one thing, right? Like, you can make that argument. But he said Sunday would be ass for a Glea too. Like, how can you be that stupid? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does it get to like that level of I don't have any idea of what I'm talking about? Like, Sunday and Aglaya was like the most obvious thing probably ever, bro. It was the most obvious thing possible. How ironic that the 2 characters that can implant weakness and break the game are not great kit-wise. No, they really aren't. And like, the thing is, right, the main argument that people use for Anoxa when they're kind of coping about him is, oh, Apocalyptic Shadow. So they're basically taking his most shield mode possible, right? His most shield mode against his most shield Hule boss with a buff that increases the damage you do against enemies depending on how many weaknesses they have on them. Oh, and this Apocalyptic Shadow, he's crazy, right? But the second you go outside that Apocalyptic Shadow and you go into Pure Fiction and MOC, it's ass, okay? He does like half the damage of Jade, and because Jade can use Deck Collector on Ling Sha, like, she just does way more follow-ups. So it's like, usually, you'd think Anoxa has the advantage, because when he has like a certain amount of weaknesses implanted on enemies, he gets that extra turn. But because his damage is so ass, not only does he do like half the damage compared to Jade's turns, but Jade still does nearly the same amount of turns because of Ling Sha having Deck Collector on her. So it's like, I don't, like, just make him a hyper carry. Please, just make him a hyper carry at this point. have enough skill points. I wonder if, like, I'll get enough. Oh, fuck. Please don't hit small Herda. Like. Oh, fuck. Can I get ults? Nice. Oh, great. Well, it's kind of a wasted ult anyways, but yeah. Just don't kill small Herda. She's like the most prone to damage. The Noxus slander, haha. Yep, only reason I skipped Jade. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have to apologize to all the people that I told Anoxa would be better than Jade. Unless he gets like a huge change in his V3. Because my goodness, man, my goodness. Yeah, like, just target my small Herda with every fucking attack possible. It's just exactly what I need. Can't, man. It's what I get for not having, for having shit relics. Jade is still meh for Herda. It's not best in slot, but a good option. It is best in slot. What? Jade is best in slot. Unless you're considering like 160 plus speed Eagle Serval. In certain cases that's better. But it's usually like it's just way better to have Jade and she's more comfortable. Yeah, I might as well just give this up. Small Herda was supposed to not die. I literally said this would happen before I even did this. Fuck, man. I just don't have the energy for that. Literally. Don't have the Trailblaze power for it. Uh... Wait, no, I can't feed this. Wait, never mind. My RMC isn't even taking advantage of it right now. Yeah, it's fine. This account is cooked? I mean, yeah, it's only a little over a month old. So, I've spent almost all my energy farming traces and not relics. So, it's just impossible to have good relics this early on. What? No, I just wanted to remove it. Most zero cycle runs will use Emanator Herda. For casuals, Jade is best in slot indeed. No. Just no. Just because you see runs with Herda zero cycling doesn't mean that all the other runs where Jade as well as zero cycles all of a sudden doesn't exist. Jade is 100% better than Mini Herda. Maybe not in pure fiction. Because in pure fiction, when you're able to like, get those million turns from Herda, but like usually yes, or an APOC when there's like ice weak enemies and there isn't quantum ones. Like, yeah, Herda's better. It's almost always Jade though. Yep, just keep going into crit damage. Just keep going into crit damage, please. Wait, no. Oh my fucking god. It just used my entire. I forgot only my main account has enhanced to fucking thingy. And it gets 1 1 1 1 1. Absolute shit. Well, whatever. At least I got her some health. A little more. Uh. I literally don't. Wait. I don't have a single other. I could use this. Yeah, I can use this one. I'm not gonna fully level it, but I mean, couldn't you have just like rolled into at least one speed, like just one? I don't know. I mean, that's better. She probably won't like instantly die. When you proc mini Herda Fua on 4 to 5 enemies, that's 4 to 5 procs of energy regen for the Herda. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. That usually only ever happens in pure fiction or a shield APOC. Like, that almost never actually happens. Not to mention that mini Herda does like no fucking damage. Like, mini Herda, a follow up will do like 50k. A follow up from Jade will do like 2 to 300k. Like, if you look at the banana boss that I think is in the current MOC, like like Jade plus Herda completely mogs small Herda plus big Herda, because you can't actually like really break them all that often or get anything out of it. Like, it's only very specific case scenarios where small Herda is better. Today's drama was insane. No. I don't know about I Day Zero Cycle Pure Fiction or whatever. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I think Himiko needs more health too, though. But she, like, I can't really replace any of Himiko's relics. I just need to level her up. But I don't have energy. Do I have fuel? Okay, I have 4 fuel. I do have 4 fuel. I could just, like, fuck it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna level up my Himiko. Dick Tone had an argument with Pokey after he said shitting on Hoyo's meta on YouTube. Who, Pokey? I mean, like, I don't know what people expect anymore. Like, okay, I don't want to shit on Mr. Pokey, but I'm pretty sure he's like fully sponsored by Hoyo. And at least personally, every content creator I've ever seen sponsored by Hoyo has always been significantly more biased to them. And then the second they lose a sponsorship, they actually start speaking normally without being biased. Like, this has happened with multiple content creators at this point. I have stopped watching or listening to any of Pokey's opinions on like what is good and like Honkai Star Rail and whatever, unless it's actually about like a character's performance. Everything else, when it comes to like his own judgment on like criticizing the game, like that, all of that shit is stupid. He wasn't wrong though. He just said if this was any other company, they wouldn't get as much hate, which is true. There is something people have to realize. There is a reason that this is the one company that gets this much hate. It's not like people woke up one day and said, fuck Hoyo for being such great devs and making such amazing games, right? There is a reason that this is one of the most hated companies in the space. Yeah, like if you look at EA, I'd actually argue EA is worse than Hoyo. EA gets some of the most shit ever, and it's rightfully so, right? It's the same with Hoyo because they treat FIFA like shit, like most of their sports games like shit. They treat their comps games like Apex Legends pretty much like shit, right? The game is pretty much overall dying as time goes on. Like, when you make bad decisions that the players do not like very clearly, and you just keep making those same decisions over and over again, you're gonna receive backlash. Well, yeah, I agree, Bull. It's like maybe that went on too much, right? Like, I haven't watched the video, like, at all. But, like, either way, the hate is deserved at the end of the day. And also, I wouldn't even say, like, to be honest, most of the biggest videos, like, in terms of, like, viewer-wise, like, the biggest videos on the platform for, like, Hoyo content is almost always either guides or, like, some type of innovative content that doesn't have anything to do with actually hating on the company. Uh... For third team, who to summon first, Triby or Noxa? Because I can't pull both. Triby, at least currently. I'd recommend waiting until at least V3 and Noxa. But if V3 and Noxa doesn't really get changed all that much, then it's 100% Triby. I think Valve gets the least. Well, yeah, that's because, like, it's really hard for Valve to make, like, bad games. Like, you can't even, like, really get mad at Valve, you know what I'm saying? Not to mention that, like, when most people hear, like, Valve, like, they mostly just think of, like, the big popular game, Cough CSGO, right? And in CSGO, like, you can actually make money off of that game if you're smart enough. So, it's really hard to hate on a game like that. Especially competitive ones. Today's drama was a nothing burger. That's almost old gacha drama, to be honest. That's why I've completely stopped watching fucking gacha drama, man. It's not even drama. It's just like, I disagree with you. You disagree with me. We're gonna talk about it and probably content bait it for a few videos or streams. And we're both not gonna change our minds on this topic, but we'll act like we have and simply move on until the next drama. That is like most of the gacha drama these days. Like it's literally just a complete waste of time, but it's free content for the big content creators. So it's not a waste of time for them. You know what I'm saying? Took me one day to realize global passive always existed in many games. Yeah, like global passive isn't anything new in terms of like gaming industry. However, the reason people are scared of it is because it's Hoyo, right? It's Hoyo. Like you have 50-50 losses. The amount of pulls you get per patch isn't even enough to get a character. So what people are afraid of is like, what if I lose 50-50 on this new character, or I don't want to pull this new character, but then they end up having a really broken passive that can really elevate my team to the next level, right? And then of course, with global passives, these things stack. So the more new characters released with passives, the stronger your account will get without even having to use those characters. So it's like it's very much a thing of, oh, Hoyo is doing this, so that's why it's bad, right? Like that's why people are afraid of it. Do I already have enough? I need one more. I need one more. Yeah, also if global passives were instead like an item that you could farm for in some type of end game content instead, then that would make people obviously way happier, right? That's accessible to everyone. But they're basically just giving you more reasons to drop your wallet on the game, or else if you lose the 50-50 and you don't have enough pulls left, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just fucked if a character has a new broken passive, which is very bad. Now, 100%. Like, I've already gone this over a million times. Castrus's passive is pretty ass overall. Like, it's nothing that crazy. But it's mostly what it sets for the future. You know, we have character power creep. We have Eidolon power creep. We have Light Cone power creep. There's 100% going to be passive power creep. There we go. Himiko does a little more damage. I do need to probably level her traces. I kinda like the global passive if it's crit rate 20 to 30%. Yeah, I mean, you might like it because you can probably pull for that character, but yeah, nah. No, 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 no. That's an entire crit rate body. I don't think, no. Even if it's farmable, I don't think players will be happy because it's just a higher gap between new and old player. I don't agree at all. I don't agree. I've already said this in my like yesterday's video where I go over me pulling E1 Tribi finally. If I pulled the Herda on this new account that is a little over a month old, I'd already be able to clear almost all the endgame content. Pure Fiction would 100% be clearable. APOC is a little more questionable. And then MOC, I would at least be able to get through like MOC 10 and MOC 11 if I pulled Herda. Like 100%. So like I don't agree that like, you know what I'm saying? If it was like an endgame mode or something that you could grind is so long as you could clear endgame or an item or whatever that maybe let's say every MOC reset, right? Every MOC reset, if you finish the entire endgame mode with max stars, you get like this global passive, right? Or you can buy it with the currency you get from endgame modes, right? Like the same you do with like Lycones and shit. That would be way better. Like even my current account with the most scuffed relics ever, is getting decently close, right? If my characters were all max leveled with like +9 gold relics on all of them, I'd already be able to clear most of the end game. So imagine a passive like that on a character like Xiao Q, I'd off myself. What passive? If you just mean like a passive in general, maybe, yeah. For Zhao Q, the only passive he'd really like, probably like speed. Like you get like a speed global passive or an EHR passive, so you can then focus speed on the relics more. What did you think of the new banner system coming in 3.2? Uh, it's meh. I don't think it's that crazy, right? I really don't. So I originally thought that this would be broken because I thought you could choose one specific character within a limited pool to get every time you lose a 50-50. Because this would be insane. Because this would allow you to get like an E6 deal after like 6 or 7 50-50 losses. Which even then I actually don't think is that insane. Because like an E6 deal, don't get me wrong, he's strong, right? E6 deal is 100% strong. But we are getting to the point in this game where like probably late 3.x, E0S1s of new characters will be stronger than an E6 deal. So like, but then after I found out all you can really do is choose between a select 7 characters, some limited, some standard, and then you have a chance to get one of those 7 every time you lose a 50-50. Me personally, I think this system is useless. I think it's damn near fucking useless. Now, I will say it's 100% better, right? It's like an upgrade to what we currently have because most of the standard characters outside of Bronya and Himiko are pretty much useless, right? But man, like it's still bad. Like it still doesn't help all that much. I'm gonna be honest. Someone on Reddit showed a 6 week old account clearing all 3 modes. Yeah, there you go. Right? Like if you just spend your energy correctly, if you pulled Herda, I think this is a big thing, right? If you pulled Herda as a new account, you are miles ahead of any other new account that did not pull Herda. So you pull Herda, then you pull like Tribby, maybe Robin for your second team. Like you 100% can clear in like 6 weeks. You 100% can. It's better than losing your 50-50 to a standard character. Here's my opinion, right? That isn't even true anymore. And the reason I say this is because alongside with this new banner system, they're introducing you guys have seen it, right? I've talked about it in my videos, the shop where if you get an E6 5 star or an E7 5 star, like a copy after E6, you get a certain currency, and with 2 of these currency, you can trade it in for a limited character in a shop. So, in my opinion, it's actually more worth it to stick with the standard characters, especially for older accounts, so that you can eventually get to like one or even multiple E6 standard characters. And then you actually have like the ability to, if you pull them decently often, right? You can then trade it in for probably a better limited character that is in the shop compared to what is probably going to be in the 50-50 banner system. Don't you get it from story quests and battle pass too? No. I heard that the character item would be in story quests, but the battle pass thing is for the light cone item. So the light cone item is a completely different thing that should be in the battle pass. So I don't know though, like how that'll work, because I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit unfair, right? Once again, this would go back to what I've been saying for a while now, that this game really appeals a lot more to new players. If older players who have already cleared old content don't get some of the item to compensate for it, but if you make a new account and you go through multiple planets, you get multiple of that item to trade in for limited 5 stars. I think that is like pretty scummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, I genuinely recommend anyone with enough time on their hands to just make a new account if their current account is like pretty bricked with old units. Because keep in mind, this is a new account that's 1 month old, and what's it called? It's 1 month old, and it doesn't have this character currency that's supposed to be added into the story yet, which would allow me to get even more limited 5 stars. And this account has an E1 Tribby and an E1 S1 Robin, and I lost both of my 50/50s for Tribby. So you get a little luckier, and you actually get that character item. You could instantly make two limited DPS teams on a new account, like 1 or 2 months in, which is pretty, bonkers. We got to see what's in the shop first to judge. I mean, it 100% have better limited 5 stars compared to the 50/50 loss pool, if I had to guess. Like, that would almost be a guarantee. So it would be better to just try and get the older standard 5 stars E6 so that you can get that currency. Unless they change it to where only limited characters at E7 could actually get that currency. But I don't think they do that, right? In my opinion, I think at minimum there should be early version 2 and the entirety of version 1 in this character shop. That's my opinion. Actually, me personally, I think the entirety of version 1 and 2 should be in there. But I understand why that's a little more iffy, mostly because of Sunday. I'm going to be honest, it's mostly because of Sunday. So, we'll see. But I do think early version 2 and all of version 1 limiteds would be fine, in my opinion. Because Sunday hasn't even had a rerun yet. So I think they're a lot more skeptical on making like late 2.x. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sunday hasn't had a rerun yet. You can get him from this character shop. I don't think they want that. Doubt Ruan May slash Luocha will be in it. I'm going to be honest. Luocha just is going to be completely fucking slammed by Hyacine. And Ruan May is not that girl anymore. Okay? I think it's completely fine to put those two in that shop. Like, it's completely fine. Anything past Sparkle is Cope, because after them the cures actually get usable. I think Robin could go in there, to be honest. Robin has now had 2 reruns already. Acheron's upcoming on 2 reruns as well. Like at 3.2, if the current rerun banner leaks are right. Like, it'd be completely fine to even include Robin in there. Because I don't think Robin's going to get another 3-patch difference rerun. I think, like, those first two, completely fine because she was the meta. You know, the meta. But, like, this far into the game, she's not really the meta anymore. If anything, it's kind of Sunday. E1 Robin from the shop currency would be nice. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's too much for them. You guys need to understand, right? This is for you getting an E7 copy of a 5-star. E7. I have an account from 1.0, and the closest I am to an E6 character is E4 Branya. And then every other character is like E2 or E3. So I'm still like 2 to 3 copies of them away from actually getting like to them E6. And consider this, I went on a 7-50-50 loss streak. And my current 50-50 win rate is like 25-75. So even I, who am pretty unlucky and get a lot of 50-50 losses to standard characters, am not really like close at all. Yeah, you also need 2 of the item. So you need to lose twice to a 5-star you already have E6 to actually trade it in for a 5-star. Do you know how shitty it would feel if the only options you had were like Jing Liu and a few other early characters, Fu Xuan, after losing 2 50-50s on an E6 5-star? Like, that would be pretty shit, I'm not gonna lie. Imagine choosing Kafka. I mean, you could make Dot work better. Like for the Dot characters, E1 makes a pretty big difference, right? So you get like Kafka E1, you get Black Swan E1 if you're really like a Dot haver, right? But Heislands. uh, she's 100% not gonna work with Kafka or Black Swan. But yeah, so long as I can clear endgame, and if you're getting it for like free, it's not bad. Like for example, my main account has an E0S1 Kafka and an E0S0 Black Swan. So like eventually when I get up there with the E6 standard characters, like if I really wanted to and I lost enough 50-50s, I could get E1 Black Swan plus E1 Kafka. Is it worth it? No. Hell to the fucking no. But, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Acheron should also be on there, by the way. I also think Acheron should be on there. A lot of people might disagree with me, but Acheron is also upcoming on the second rerun, and like all of the upcoming DPSs are stronger than Acheron at E0. And Acheron is one of like the least, and I mean it when I say it, the least free to play friendly characters in the entirety of the game. Like Herda and Acheron are both Emanators, but they're on completely different levels when it comes to like their free to play friendliness. Yeah, if you're winning 50-50s, it's also not helping you either. Even if you do have E6 of like the standard characters. Like, you need the luck to actually hit an E6 standard character that you obviously have E6. And then after that, you also need to lose the 50-50. And then you need to do it twice. Like, it's very fucking rare, guys. Unless you're a whale, of course. Unless you're a whale. I'm sure a lot of whales have a lot of E6 standard characters. E00 Acheron was pretty free-to-play friendly on her release. Thirda will probably be the same. I don't think it's on the same level. I don't think it's on the same level of free-to-play friendliness, though. Like, if you used Acheron with a full free-to-play team back then, I don't think it's the equivalent to a Herda with a full free-to-play team now. Like, I also agree that she was semi free to play friendly simply because of how strong she was at base compared to everyone else, and it was before the end game got like HP inflation and all that. But it still wasn't on the level of Herda. Like Herda, it's to the point where hyper carry RMC is very comparable to her best in slot limited support, right? And for Acheron, her best in slot limited support is Zhao Q. And I think we all know how any free to play alternatives match up to Zhao Q, right? It's not exactly close in the slightest. Yeah, I was just talking about it, Ash. Oh, Robin died when I looked away to look at chat. How amazing. I fucking hate this shit, man. Why does my keyboard have a cable like that? E00 Acheron was literally... Yeah, but I'm not exactly just talking about like how they performed back then, but like Acheron's premium options are a substantial upgrade over any 4-star option. But for Herda, it isn't the same. Because you can run a hyper carry Herda with RMC, Mini Herda, and Gallagher, and like the difference in cycle clearage to like Lingshaw plus Jade will probably be like 1. Like a 1 cycle difference between the two. But if you use Zhao Q for Acheron over like any other, 4-star support, it's a complete fucking blowout. Like Acheron with a Zhao Q will clear like twice as fast, if not even faster, compared to someone that does not use Zhao Q with their Acheron. Unless you're using like an E2 Acheron and action advancing her constantly with Sunday to get the stacks up. Well, yeah, Bullets, but Herda is already getting all of her best in slots currently is the thing. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, all of Herda's 4-star alternatives are extremely close in performance to her 5-star ones. Acheron's 5 or 4-star alternatives get blown out by the 5-star ones. Unless you believe Herda is also going to get another best in slot support in like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 patches like Acheron did that completely blows everyone out of the water. But I don't think they're going to do that. I'm pretty sure it's just It's just Jade, it's just Tribby, it's just Anoxa, and that's it. Like, it just stops there. Unless, like, indirectly a future support is so broken that you can maybe go back to running Hyper Carry Herda even more. Yeah, like Anoxa currently is literally worse than Jade. Like, I, I know. It's V1 and V2, right? Someone's gonna say it. I'm aware, right? I'm aware, but current Anoxa, right? Current Anoxa is 100% just worse than Jade. It's just not worth it. Like, I've literally seen multiple videos at this point. He is a slight, and I mean it when I say this, a slight upgrade over Serval. Like, I've seen multiple videos comparing the two, and as well Anoxa comparing Jade. Jade usually beats Anoxa, and then Serval is usually like slightly slower compared to Anoxa on a Herda team. I honestly think it's better this way, by the way. This is why I'm advocating for Anoxa to become a hyper carry so bad, is because Herda being this free to play friendly is really nice in my opinion, right? Don't make another Zhao Q situation where they just completely change the DPS, right? Completely changes their performance. I don't want Anoxa to make Herda go from, in the future when there's MOCHP inflation, right? Let's say Herda is now averaging like 3 to 4 cycle clears. I don't want it to be a thing where if you slot in Anoxa, she's now clearing in one cycle consistently in old content. Like, that should not be a thing at all. I genuinely think the Herda is one of the greatest examples of how a DPS should be made, because amazing 4-star alternatives for people who don't have the polls or simply don't want to poll on the 5-star ones, right? Very close to the 5-star ones, although the 5-star ones are still better. I really need to get my Herda up, man. I gave her 500 or 600 more HP, and everyone is still fucking dying. My Robin has nearly 4k health. She's still dying. I just need better relics really badly, man. Fuck. He's much better in blast content, which will be helpful when the AoE stops. He's not much better in blast content. He isn't. You can argue he might be slightly better, but like, even then, like in blast content, not really. It's usually either single target or dual target, where Anoxa actually starts to shine above Jade. Blast and anything higher, as far as I've seen, has been Jade's win, unless it's Apocalyptic Shadow, because of course implanting weakness and Apoc Shadow is obviously very valuable, right? But even in Blast, the two are very close, meaning overall, Jade has the advantage because she's winning in 3, 4, 5 target. And then on top of this, what's it called? Uh, with Jade, if you don't have a Link Shaw and you're not using Deck Collector on Link Shaw, you can then use Deck Collector on Herda, allowing her to use attack boots, which is pretty underrated in my opinion. Herda does a lot more damage with attack boots compared to speed boots. No, I think Anoxa should have been Nihility. I genuinely think they should have just made him Nihility and made him like a decent, alternative to Zhao Q for Acheron or something. Or make him Dot, right? Make him Dot, you know? Because a lot of Nihility characters recently just aren't Dot. Some of them are Super Break. Nihility is basically the random bullshit go path before Remembrance came into the game. In all honesty, right? It's basically the same shit. Imagine Anoxa is actually a Cypher support. I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure Cypher herself is supposed to be a sub DPS. So, I mean, maybe if her additional damage is based off of like extra turns from other characters, which would be insanely hyper specific. But I'm more confident in Cypher being probably with Heislands than, you know, being with an Oxa or something. I heard she was main damage dealer. No. The leaker said she was a crit DPS for Nihility, but that she's more of like an additional damage sub DPS. Like she isn't a main DPS, but she does do like work off of crit. I don't think I saw anything about her being a main DPS. They were saying Cypher's a main DPS? Really? I didn't see that anywhere. Uh, yeah. The only thing we know about her is that she's a crit DPS for Nihility. I don't remember any leaks saying she's a main DPS. If they make her a Phanon support, I'm quitting. Wait, that actually is possible. Unironically, I'm pretty sure it was also leaked that Phanon is also an additional damage dealer. So, her being the banner before Phanon, hmm, who knows? Might be another My Day caster situation where even if it's not the best in slot team, might work very well. Stop. I mean, I didn't really think about it, but like it genuinely makes sense. Although okay, I'm not gonna take this leak with any credence, right? This is more of a another random bullshit go leak. But like, I believe last patch we got a leak for Phanon, saying that his best in slot teammate would be Sunday. So I don't know how that would work if you ran duo DPS. I mean, I think we all know how that would work, right? Tribby, E1 Tribby, but outside of E1 Tribby, like I don't see a duo DPS team with Sunday. So it's like completely possible, unironically, that Phanon ends up being another caster situation where he can be ran either duo DPS or hyper carry, and there isn't really like a big difference between the two. Wasn't the leak Phanon working with Saridra? No. We got a leak saying that Saridra would likely be Phanon's best in slot teammate, and that she releases in 3.5, which is a patch after Phanon's banner. But like, this doesn't necessarily mean that Cypher wouldn't work. Like, okay, so if Saridra is a team buffer, which I don't think they're gonna do, by the way, I do think the next buffer will be a hyper carry one, because we're getting Tribby and like we have Tribby right now, and she's a team buffer. Last buffer we had was Sunday for Harmony. Before that it was Robin, and then before that was Sparkle, and then before that it was Ruan May, right? So they have a clear pattern of, we do one support that's team based, then we do another support that's hyper carry based. So the next one should be hyper carry based. Unless this somehow breaks the cycle because she's the first Remembrance limited support, but because she's Remembrance and not Harmony, they just say, I don't give a fuck about the pattern, and just make her a team buffer anyways. That's also possible, but I do think she'll probably be a hyper carry one. Watch her have 100% AA for two teammates. Yeah, that would do it. That would probably do it, but I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't exactly want that in the game. I mean, it could be something where like I don't know, like she could be a team buffer, but then give kind of similar to Fugue. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think Fugue just passively gives some type of super break. So if Saridra was something similar, where she had just like passively gave the entire team true damage, however, her main buffs lied in like choosing a certain character to either give action advance or better buffs, then I could see that happening, but I'm not completely sure. Yeah, action advancing two characters is on a different level than action Sunday action advancing memo spray plus character. Cause this would probably make the what's it called? Castris My Day team the best in slot team for Castris. If you could then have team buffs and then also AA two characters at the same time. And this would make basically any duo DPS comp really broken with E1 Tribi. So like I don't really know how I feel about that. Nice, Wolf. Or Saridra is just a sub DPS that works with Phanon. I mean, that's also possible. But the thing is, we are kind of due for support after Trivi. Like 3.1, and then we're going. So 3.2 should be Castris and Noxa. 3.3 should be Hyacine Cypher. 3.4 should be Phanon plus the Fae collab. And then 3.5 should be Heislands plus whoever else. So we'd have to assume maybe the March 7th Dark March 7th is the next support, and that would be 5 patches away. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think Hoyo can go 5 patches without making a new meta support, cuz that is usually what makes them the most money. Although something I am curious about, right? Something I am curious about, Phanon should be the destruction emanator. I could be wrong here, but like he should end up being the destruction emanator 100%. So, considering every other emanator wants other people on the same path, I wonder if Phanon plus My Day would actually work, or and like how it would work. Like our first destruction emanator, Nihility makes a lot more sense because Nihility characters have supportive capabilities. I guess they pull another Herda where if you have a certain amount of destruction characters on the team, then either like Phanon or the entire team receives like a certain buff, whether it be like crit damage, damage increase, or whatever. Probably be something like that. Imagine a mono male team for Phanon with My Day, Sunday, and Fire Don Hung. That could be possible, yeah. Because Fire Don Hung should be the next sustain after Hyacine. Unless Phanon. Guys, I don't want to be that guy, but isn't there like a genuinely good chance that Phanon works off of losing HP? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but like, even a lot of the destruction blessings in simulated universe have to do with you being at a low HP amount. So like, I genuinely think it makes sense for him to somehow, like, he doesn't have to be an HP scaler, but he should like lose HP, and then highest scene would probably be his best in slot sustain. Like, I know people don't like it, but like, it just makes sense, right? Like, we have My Day right there. My Day doesn't really have any like best in slot, if I'm being honest, other than like Sunday and Hyper Carry. But if you were to run like duo DPS and he's a destruction emanator, his best partner probably would be My Day. And My Day is like HP like here and there. I don't know. I'm reaching right now. I don't think I'm reaching. Like, if you play some simulated universe, almost all of the destruction blessings are based off of giving you buffs or like increases in something if your HP is like lower than 50% or something like that. Like, it's like so many of the buffs. And then My Day is the most recent destruction. I don't think we're getting another one for a little bit until Phenon's release. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Daradon. Like, they don't have to rely on HP manipulation like Caster said My Day, but he could have like something that makes him lose HP in some way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes the most sense. Because Fire Dawn Hung is pretty far away to be a best in slot sustain for Phenon. Like, he's supposed to, Fire Dawn Hung was moved to 3.6, which is like incredibly far. But Hyacine is in 3.3, which is the patch before Phenon, which would make more sense for her to be the best in slot sustain. Yeah, a lot of destruction characters like sacrifice something. And in most cases it's usually like health. So we'll end up seeing. We'll end up seeing. I am curious how Phenon will end up working. I'm more curious in Phenon than Casters, to be honest. Because we currently don't really have any real leaks on Phenon, other than he's likely physical destruction with additional damage. And he's obviously the Emanator. But, like, that's what makes him interesting, is that he's an Emanator. So, like, how is that going to work with having other destruction units on his team? I think we need more types, to be honest. I mean, elements. What element could they add to this game? Earth, I guess. They could add earth, water, probably like hydro. Possibly kiwi. Okay, so here's the thing, right? A lot of people have had this speculation that basically the leakers said that Hyacine is a burning HP healer who can deal damage. And so if she can actually drain like team wide HP and then heal it back, then this would work with My Day if he has some type of HP loss mechanic. Like, he doesn't have to be HP scaling, but this would help him, and this would make Hyacine his best in slot sustain. So it really depends. I'm not sure. I mean, Remembrance is a path, Celestial. I think they just mean like actual elements, like not paths. So like Herda's ice, Gallagher's fire, Robin's physical, Like that type of thing, not the actual paths. Unless you're saying that they're somehow going to screw up a newer element of characters and make them incredibly niche. But I don't think that happened. It's kind of different from paths. No, yeah, I know Daradon. Yeah, I saw that. Adding elements doesn't do anything other than nerf your account's coverage? Well, then, may I introduce to you Anoxa? Yup. May I introduce to you the most meta changing character we've ever seen in the history of this game. Anoxa, the weakness implanter. And the Doom posted Silverwolf. They all said, wow, complete shit, right? Originally, people pulled for her thinking she would be meta changing just for every new DPS to ignore weakness, anyways. But now that we add a new element to the game, now you're missing them, eh? No, Blad, I'm trolling. I'm trolling. Hail Silverwolf, hail Silverwolf. Hail Silverwolf, guys. 1 second, black screen for like 30 seconds because I'm going to switch to my main account to probably farm Eagle. Farming even more Eagle in preparation for Zhao Q. Where's our standard remembrance character? Well, it should be Aglaya, but the issue I think the devs have with Aglaya is they're aware that they make money off of this game's power creep, and Aglaya being as strong as she is currently, they do not want to put her on a standard banner. Like, it's really just that simple, to be honest. Like, even currently, Aglaya on like a sustain team, best in slot sustain team, she is the current strongest DPS this game has to offer. Like, above Maide and above Herda. So, you know what I'm saying? Would you use Eagle for Tribby? If you're trying to make her fast, yeah. Like, if you're trying to do fast Tribby. Like, the thing in Genshin is the like Genshin does have power creep, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't, but compared to HSR, like Genshin is like a flowing stream out of a teapot, right? It's clean, it's consistent, it doesn't go too fast, it doesn't go too slow, right? It's just right there. And then HSR is like a waterfall, basically, in terms of the power creep. Like, you'll have 2 or 3 patches where the power scaling for characters in this game doesn't increase all that much, and then BAM! A main story from the character gets released on a limited banner, and they're all of a sudden completely shitting on every other previous DPS. Caved in and got Tribby. W. Fellow Tribby owners. Yeah, exactly. Speed boots. Fuck, man. Oh, why couldn't you get effect hit rate? Fuck. That would have been perfect. A natural 4 with effect hit rate. I get like 2 rolls in there. Fuck, man. Fucking eagle set pisses me off. It's always baiting me. Should be the only harmony for the entire year? Yeah, I think so. However, okay, so they might not be the same path, obviously, right? But we should get like 1 or 2 remembrance characters within 3.x that are probably basically the equivalent of a harmony. Like similar to RMC. If you get speed, you know, it's all good. Everything can be forgiven if you roll speed. And you get like multiple rolls. Who are you using EHR and Eagle for? I'm farming for Zhao Q. Because Zhao Q has a decent chance of being reran in 3.2 with Acheron. So, fuck. The bait. Just get speed. Don't bait me with just one of them. So if Zhao Q gets reran and Acheron gets reran, I have a guarantee for Acheron right now. And then because it's an anniversary patch, like, it's almost guaranteed that I can get Zhao Q plus Acheron unless I go to soft pity both times and I lose the 50-50 for Zhao Q. So I'm just kind of pre-farming, you know, just in case. I don't think Cyrene is going to be a buffer, guys. Like, that was only, like, the very first leak we got on Cyrene. And then later on, like, a few leakers, like, backtracked and said that she would not be a support. There was actually a leak a little bit ago that she'd get her own 4-star support somewhere in, like, 3.6 or 3.7. Implying she's, like, a Remembrance Emanator who's a DPS, like everyone else. No, yeah, that was the very first leak, though, Dark. Like, they backtracked on that and said that, like, they didn't mean, like, actually as a harmony like Sunday or support like Sunday. What is the speed target for Zhao Q? 170 plus? I think it's like 160 plus. And then with Light Cone, I think 100% debuff guarantee is like 178 EHR, which I simply cannot get currently. Oh, fuck off. And no, I don't have Von Whack for my Zhao Q, okay? I don't have Von Whack. I've never even touched Von Whack on this account. $140 plus EHR is fine. It's only fine if you don't have the light cone. If you don't have the light cone, then I'm pretty sure 140 EHR is guaranteed. But if you have the light cone and you want to inflict unarmored, you need like 178. But 150 to 160 is still like fine. But you do want like 170 around there. It's different for when he has his light cone. No Von Whack for Robin. Actually, what do I have for Robin on this account? Oh, I'm using the attack. I'm using the attack planar because I don't have Von Whack. Yeah, I have him as 0. Yeah, at S0, it's fine. But with the light cone, his EHR requirement goes up. Serval, I believe, is the one I'm using as a test. So, Serval has one more base speed than Zhao Q. So this 161 speed would turn into 160 if I had Zhao Q. And this EHR would be increased by, I believe, 60% from the light cone and 28% from his traces. So, yeah. Will you pull Zhao QS1? I'll probably try for it, yeah. I have 50 pity on the Lycone banner on my main account. So, as you guys can see here, and then these two pieces, or at least this piece in specific, doesn't have much EHR on it, which is like a bit frustrating, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Will you pull Zhao Q S1? It's not even a 5% increase over resolution, though. Is it? Is it really not over a 5% increase? Also, what is resolution? Do I have that? Let me go to my Nihility characters. You're not Nihility, you're Erudition. Confused you with Pela. Oh, it's this one. Is it really not? Is it only 5% better, really? Is that really a thing? It's not even 5. Wow. So, I mean, the thing is, the light cone also helps me with his EHR. If I don't get the light cone, I am missing a shit ton of EHR. So outside of what like it just adds normally, like I need to make up like insane amounts for the EHR. In terms of damage, yes, but in practicality, no. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Because like yeah, resolution is fine, but like you need so much better relics to make up for the lost EHR to make him actually like do it consistently. It's not worth it if you're just using him as Acheron's battery. I don't know. The problem is, let's say I don't pull the light cone, right? Let's say I don't pull the light cone. Where's Serval? Serval's the one I'm using as the placeholder. Oh, fuck. Yo, am I blind, bro? Oh, I'm already on Serval. So if I don't get the light cone, I am stuck at 70% EHR. And I need 70% more. How the fuck am I gonna get that without absolutely butchering his speed? I mean, it's not 90 pulls bullets, it's light cone. That's the thing. Light cones are lower, like, light cones have a lower soft pity, and it doesn't go to 90, it goes to 80 at max. So usually, you get it at like 60 something. And I'm already at 50 pity anyways, and I don't plan on getting anyone else's light cone. No, he does have EHR base stats, but that only adds 28%. So I go to 100%. I'm missing out on entire like 40% EHR. So I'm going to have to butcher the speed, and he's no longer going to be at 160. He's going to be taking less turns per cycle now. With his light cone, I can actually get better speed tuning on him to make him take 3 turns in 1 cycle if I pull his light cone, which is obviously way better for Acheron. I don't think the 5% difference you guys are talking about is taking into account min-max. What's your body piece? This. It's not the greatest. Honestly, it would have been way better if it went more into speed. I'd rather waste more stamina than pulls. No, but okay, so here I don't think you guys have watched my video, right? After I get E2 Acheron plus Zhao Q, I'm not pulling any new DPSs in the entirety of 3.x. So this means I'm pulling Tribi probably on her rerun for my Herda, and then I might pull Saridra if she's a good enough support. But I am not pulling for anyone in 3.x the second I pull Zhao Q plus Acheron. So me investing in Zhao Q's light cone to make my life easier instead of spending like an extra month in the Eagle domain to get Zhao Q to an actual like decent speed plus EHR threshold, like, you know what I'm saying? Because my main account is going to have 2 E2 S1 Emanators. That's pretty much the goal now. I have E2 S1 Herda plus Tribi, probably skip a Noxa because he's just fucking useless right now. And then E2 S1 Acheron plus Zhao Q. And then those teams to carry me throughout the entirety of 3.x. And then I'll pull supports here and there. You know what I'm saying? Imagine Saridra is goated and her LC is mandatory. Then that wouldn't be an issue because I'm skipping everything after 3.2. Like, I'm only pulling in the first phase of 3.2 because I believe that's where the triple rerun banner with Acheron and Zhao Q is supposed to be. So I have the second half of 3.2, the entirety of 3.3, and then likely the entirety of 3.4 unless Tribi gets reran there. Like, I have an entire basically 3 patches of Jades that I can spend on a new support or reran support with Tribi. Yeah, I'm also not free to play. I get an extra 23 pulls every single patch because of monthly pass. What happens to your plan if they make a Noxa a Zhao Q for Herda? I'll probably get a Noxa on a rerun. And then I'd still pull Zhao Q plus Acheron, but I'd get a Noxa on his rerun. That's probably what I do. Don't pull E2 Acheron? Why? Literally, why? I'm saying if a Noxa was that good, then I'd still rather pull E2 Acheron. Because Anoxa will probably get his rerun inevitably, but our Acheron's already on her second rerun. DPSs always take, like, main DPSs usually take longer to rerun. Like, Acheron took an entire 5 patches, bro. Like, I'd rather just get the E2 and get Anoxa on her rerun. Because my Herda is, like, more recent, so she can very easily clear without Anoxa, especially at E2. I feel like investing in Acheron now is kind of cuckly. Why are we acting like E2 Acheron is cooked? Can we get for real for a second, guys? Like, it would be one thing if it was me going for E0 Acheron, but E2 Acheron, why are we acting like she's getting completely cooked right now? Like, people need to understand any new support that becomes even stronger with action advance is instantly on Acheron's team, also making her stronger. So it's just a W for me at the end of the day. Yeah, there are 0 cycles of E2 Acheron without Jiaoqiu. Like, and they're not using like E1 or E2 S1 Sunday and Robin. Like, they're genuinely using like a normal invested Sunday or something like that. I think I even saw one with was it RMC? I don't remember correctly. Yeah, E1 Triby as well. E1 Triby goes pretty hard with Acheron, but because I have both Herda and Acheron, E1 Triby's going on the Herda team. Acheron still doesn't have an. Okay, so I've already talked about this before. I don't think they're gonna give Acheron another best in slot teammate. I'm gonna say it how it is, right? I don't think they're giving Acheron a best in slot teammate because then that gets rid of the point of pulling for her E2, and they want people to pull for her E2. If they release another like near Zhao level support that's better than like any other alternative, and then you have like Zhao plus that Nihility as well, then E2 Acheron literally has zero reason to be pulled for, other than the extra 1 stack every time she gets a turn. Oh, someone asked earlier. I don't remember if I responded, but I said I'd go for Phanon on either of the accounts, right? So I finally decided after the Acheron and Zhao leak that I'd rather just get finally my E2 Acheron and then Zhao. So I have two E2 S1 Emanators. And then on my ult account, I have not done Golden Gears and I have not done Swarm Disaster. I still have like half of Simulated Universe to be done in terms of blessings. I also haven't done a bunch of planets, and my account already has E1 Triby right now. So my ult account basically has the majority of this patch to get Jades, and the only way I won't have enough Jades to pull Phanon is if I win on Castris but go to Pity, and then when Hyacine releases, I lose the 50-50. That's the only case scenario where I'm not able to afford Phanon probably on my ult account. If I lost a 50-50 for Castris, that means I'm guaranteed for Phanon, right? But if I win Castris and then lose Hyacine, I'm fucked. But if I win both Castris and Hyacine, then I'm fine again. So it just depends. I have to get like a very specific, streak of luck and bad luck to actually not be able to get Phanon on my ult account. Yeah, I'm still gonna play the game, Irokumon. I've already said this. You are not a Venturine. I mean, this is, yeah, like, the thing is, it would be incredibly unlikely. Like, this is considering I don't get any earlies as well. This is considering I don't get any earlies and I go to Pity every single time. I know you would change your pulling plans again once V3 drops. No, because this, like, V3 doesn't affect anything, like, at all. Like, people need to understand. My E2 S1 Herda can already 0 cycle most content in this game. The team I actually need to make stronger is my second one and not my Herda one. Even if they make a Noxa Jesus for Herda, it's not going to make a difference. I'll just get him on a rerun. But I'm not going to pull him right now if Acheron and Jiaoqiu are on the banner. So V3 isn't going to change anything at all. Is Castris a must-have? No. Does Golden Gear and Swarm Disaster give that many Jades? I'm pretty sure both of them give 25 total around there. So you combine the two, or sorry, not Jades, but pulls. So each one gives around 25 pulls, I think, total. And then combined, they give a total of like 4,500, I think. Which, oh wait, no, it's more than that, isn't it? Yeah, it's more than that. I don't remember. It's like 30 or 40 pulls you're missing out on if you don't do them. How's Sunday with Herda now? He's good. He's fine. Especially if you don't have Herda with a leg cone, but you have a Sunday with a leg cone. That can be pretty nice in like hyper carry scenarios. I mean, nothing's changed Orange Candle for Sunday and Castris. He's not best in slot, but he's not best in slot for a very specific reason that will be fixed with Hyacine. Yeah, like, I understand the outrage against the global passives 100%, right? But will I quit the game over it? No. I just won't pull for the characters with global passives. Like, if a character I already like ends up having a passive, sure, I'll pull them. But if there's a new character that I just don't want to pull on that has a half decent passive, I'm still not pulling his ass. Okay? It's not that serious, right? I'll just skip him. Because the thing is, I don't think they'll scale the end game off of passives for the one reason that the only characters that get passives are story main characters. Like, those are the only ones seemingly. So, like, you have Castris, you have Phanon, and then you'll probably have, like, Cyrene. So if this actually makes it into the game, that's only 3 characters with likely very minor passives that barely make a difference. So it'd probably take like this game being like 5 years old or something for them to maybe start scaling the end game off of passives. I mean, that just isn't gonna happen, Zen. Like, you can literally see how scared they are in making these passives too strong. Like, if they go from Castrus's basically almost useless passive to a passive that gives some of the most game breaking buffs in the game, like, I don't think they're gonna do that. Like, they're probably gonna take it slow, and at first it's gonna be basically useless. Over time, in like a year or two, it'll be useful but not necessary. And then probably like 4 to 5 years down the line, sure, that's when it'll probably get crazy. I mean, max technique point count is basically useless though. Like, I don't know any other character in this game that would actually take advantage of something like that other than Ting Yun. And even then, although Ting Yun uses it twice in endgame, there's still 3 left for your other characters. Like, I don't think they'd really start basing it off of that. Like, that wouldn't really matter. Oh, yeah, Aventurine. Yeah, Aventurine. But then again, all you have to do is just click the restart button and you have your technique points back. I think skipping Castris and Hycine will be worth it, so I go, yeah. Yeah, Blad. Like I've already said this before, I recommend to a lot of people to just skip a patch and then pull the patch after if it has a character you like or something. Like if you try pulling every single patch, it'll almost never go your way. I don't think Tribby is required at all. Apparently, you can use Bailu's signature Lycone as an option for Castris. Oh yeah, I heard that the max HP on it is nice. But other than that, it's eh. You think 200 pulls is enough for an E0S1 Sunday? Uh, maybe. TJ Yao. I'm pretty sure you're using E1 Tribby here. Which, we've had this exact conversation in my last stream. Normally, Tribby and Sunday are genuinely close. E1 Tribby is better than Sunday in AoE content. Sunday is better than Tribby when there's like one or two targets on field at E1 because his defense shred with Castris having her light cone, puts her close to 100% defense shred, I'm pretty sure. And his E1 is an overall 34% damage increase for the dragon. Sunday does not become irrelevant. And if anything, the best combo in this case scenario where you're using both the characters at E1 is E1 Sunday plus E1 Tribby. Because you're getting the increased single target damage from E1 Tribby and the 34% damage increase from E1 Sunday, which makes her do a lot more overall damage compared to probably RMC. You need at least one of them? Uh, I don't know. I have seen casters hit for 1 million with RMC. And like an E0 Tribby, right? You know what I'm saying? Like not E1, but E0. Like I remember seeing a 3 or 4 cost team with casters hitting for 1 million on one of the dragon skills. Is it consistent? Probably not. But does it happen? Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Free to play characters for casters is ass. 100%, I agree. I think Castris is a pretty team hungry character, especially once Hyacine releases. That will basically be guaranteed. The only thing Castris really has going for is Gallagher and no, not even Gallagher. Gallagher's gonna get completely shit on with the new change. Probably RMC. So you use a RMC, like that's probably the closest to free to play anything for her. Gallagher gets worse with this new change, in my opinion. He's still very, very good, but he does get worse. I mean, to be honest, I think Castris got off not so bad. I think, like, compared to Aglaya, like, Castris did not get off that bad. Because she can still use RMC plus Gallagher and then either Tribby or Sunday, right? E0, whatever. And that's only one other limited on the team. But Aglaya is like, you know what I'm saying? Aglaya is a bit different. Aglaya gets an insane boost from having Robin plus Sunday plus Wolfwell. If you could select it, who would you choose as your 50-50 loss in 3.2? I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do for the selectable limited characters. It's not confirmed yet, so I don't even know. Ruan May? Yeah, if that's in there, I guess. Yeah, probably Ruan May. Well, yeah, I'm aware you can run her with Pela, but like that's pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like cope. I'm not gonna lie. It's just, it's a little cope running with Pela. Just saw full auto casters gameplay. It's making me want to skip. Yeah, a Castris is for sure not an auto character. I think I can say that 100%. This is probably the least autoable DPS in the entirety of the game, depending on your team comp. If you run the double sustain comp, actually no, because the AI in this game is really stingy with sustain healing. So I actually don't know. I do think the double sustain comp would be fine on auto because the AI would probably explode the dragon every single time. But like I do think if you're running a team that doesn't explode the dragon every turn, then the AI will completely fuck you over. Yun Li, the thing is, like I don't think Yun Li is as bad because she still does do a weaker follow up if you mess up the timing. However, then the next one is basically guaranteed to be the big follow up. So it's like on Castris, like if you fuck up the dragon, it'll be like a huge either like DPS loss or whatever. For Yun Li, it isn't as big. I'm not saying like it's good. It's 100% worse, but I do think Castris Auto is actually worse. I mean, unless the only way, right? The only way she becomes better at auto is if they genuinely like the recent change of her apparently in V3 counting all healing to her charge. Like this makes it to where exploding the dragon is always the best case scenario. But here's the thing. If exploding the dragon is always like guaranteed to be what Castris does, what the fuck is the point of the E1? I'm pretty sure her E1 makes it to like every time the dragon attacks, like each stack basically is like it increases his damage like 50% and it can stack up to like 2 or 300%. So, if they make it to where exploding the dragon is always the best case scenario, what the fuck is the point of the E1? Yeah, like they'd have to change the Eidolons and change the kit to actually make that work. Also, I do think they should not nerf the dragon's explosion. I've seen a lot of people saying that they'll nerf the dragon's explosion in turn for her getting her ult a lot more often now because now just normal healing in general counts towards her ult charge. But the reason I don't think they'll do this is because this actually fixes her biggest issue, which is being ass in single target. Because the exploding dragon does always 6 instances of damage towards whatever targets are on field. And currently, her single target and like dual target performance is like very, very much worse than her AoE performance. So you could easily fix this by allowing her to get ult more often so you always explode the dragon, which would fix that problem. Yeah, I could care less if they nerf her E2, to be honest. Like, when it comes to Castrus Eidolons, the weaker they become, the better. What I want is for her, like, her base kit to be solid. Like, I want her to be, like, the Herda level and Aglaia level. Yeah, Walrus, that's why I went for E1 Triby, man. I was really scared of Castrus being completely AoE reliant and then just being complete ass when there isn't full AoE. So I made sure to get E1 Triby on my account. No, Zen. V4 usually has like it might not be base. Okay, so Triby's or Triby's change where she basically gained way less energy and did way less follow-ups was in her V4. So Triby's biggest change throughout all the versions was in V4, and then that's when she got the hot fix to regen energy depending on how many mobs on field are attacked by allies. And then as well, V4 always has pretty drastic Eidolon and possibly Lycone changes. Like both Herda and My Day received like noticeable changes in their Eidolons in V4, as well as Lycone. No, Trippy's Lycone is good, but it's just like not worth it at all if you have DDD is the issue. Because like what a lot of people are doing for the min maxers is they're running an Eagle Tribby so that Tribby takes as many turns as possible, regens energy as quickly as possible, and then this way she's able to get like enough ult spam to genuinely get like a good amount of action advance for the entire team every cycle, which in some cases is actually more valuable than her light cone increasing her own damage and teammates crit damage. Yeah, TJ, yeah. I will say Cogs is for sure like a huge step down from DDD for Trivy. Oh yeah, I imagine. The thing is like if Tribby's damage was just slightly more substantial, I do think her light cone would make a lot bigger of a difference. But because it doesn't, or because she doesn't do like that crazy of extra damage, then it's just fine to run her on DDD. Because most of her damage scales off of her HP, anyways. Like, sure, you can add crit damage, but it's not going to make a crazy difference. Well, yeah, Wolf, I agree, but like, if you're like my ult account with Rob, who somehow managed to get 4 DDDs in a row for every like 4-star guarantee on the banner, it's like a completely different story. Oh wait, this is my main account. But Rob does have 4 copies of DDD. So for a lot of people who did get lucky with DDD, her light cone was like not even an option. Like I spent 50 pulls on the DDD banner when it came back on my main account and I didn't get a single copy. So it's like I understand both sides of it. Honkai Star Rail leaks. Is there anything new? Anything new? Nope, it's still just the V3 Castress Ultimate change. And the new banner system. Okay. I still have S1 DDD. Rip. I mean, S1 DDD is still usable on Triby, but still not. Yeah, it's not the best. The problem I'm having is that if I get E1 Tribby, I'm not ever going to use my E1 Robin. The thing is, though, I don't think Robin's going to get phased out like that. I truly do think you'll likely be able to use Robin in either Phaenon's team or Heislin's team in the future. Or even Cyrene, right? Because they did change. Like, Cyrene should be the Remembrance Emanator. And they did change Robin to Action Advance all Memo Sprites. So, like, I feel like she will be best in slot with someone. Like, I don't think it'd only be a Glea, to be honest. Yeah, E1 Robin is still cracked. Or you could use like both. You know what I'm saying? Like if some DPS in the future calls for both, you can use both at the same time as well. That's why I pulled E1 Tribby and E1 S1 Robin on my Rob account. Was because like E1 Tribby is more so for the newer DPS releases. And if Heislins or someone else in the future can use my E1 S1 Robin, she's just getting slotted in there, right? But for now, my E1 S1 Robin is on my Himagos team. I don't think Phanon would be a defense scaler as a destruction character. I mean, he could be if he's a counter attacker, but my E1 S1 Tribby hits for almost 300k on follow up slash ult. Nice. 300k on Fua is cap. Ain't no way your Tribby that cracked. I mean, 300k is pretty diabolical. But the thing is, the light cone does help with Tribby's damage, like, significantly. So, it also increases, like, ult uptime because of the energy it gives, I believe. So, I don't know about 300k. You'd probably be getting damage from someone else as well. But, like, I have seen 250s, I think, of an E1S1 Tribby. I've seen, like, 200 to 250 follow ups. 264k? Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Yeah. It's still diabolical, but yeah, that makes more sense. It has to be against like 5 mobs, and then it's usually like ult or follow up attack that hits all of them. If you are at the point where you are considering benching E1 Robin, your account is probably goaded. Yeah, probably. I mean, the thing is, if we get like another Herda situation where like E1 S1 Robin is losing to an E0 S0 Tribby with DDD, then like it's kinda understandable. But I do think Herda's a bit of an extreme example because of how like niche Tribby was made exactly for her. So like after these HP scalers, probably Phanon or Heislins who will use attack most likely would probably be able to use E1 Robin just fine. Hello, Sevens. I know a lot of people are gonna regret skipping Tribby though. Like I think that's 100% gonna happen. I truly do think people are gonna regret it. I understand a lot of people don't want to pull for her because of the design, but at the end of the day, this is a meta support. You know what I'm saying? Unless Saridra ends up somehow being like eclipsing Tribby, I don't see how people won't regret it. Like, it could literally be another Robin situation all over again. Probably, yeah, no, yes. I have E1 Robin for my Herda and she's still clearing. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to clear with other supports, but the thing is, this exact same logic used to be applied to Acheron. Oh, my Acheron with Gwenhyphen and Pela is still clearing all the endgame just fine. Why would I pull for the best in slot support? Like, this was the exact same argument made back in the day. Not to mention that there are videos out there showing that E1 S1 Robin loses to E0 S0 Tribi for Herda. Yeah, like there's genuinely a higher chance of Tribi being more so like, especially if you consider E1, right? Like if we're being fair and you include E1 Robin versus E1 Tribi, no offense, but it's like not even close. Because for blast characters, this is like an overall, like let's say there's three enemies on field and it isn't the best case scenario and it's five, you're still getting like 70 to 80 more 70 80% more single target damage against the highest HP mob on field with three targets. While with Robin, you're wasting a lot of the overall 30% damage increase on like mobs that matter way less. So E1 Tribi does have like that eternal value kinda. Like if we ever go into single target for a few patches and then we're blinded by Tribi being ass and then all of a sudden we go back to like blast and AoE, like it makes such a big difference to have Tribi. I don't think Phanon and Castoris is a Acheron Fei Shao situation. I think it's closer to an Acheron Firefly situation. So I think Phanon will probably be on a similar level in terms of power level to Castoris' best in slot team, like Phanon. And then Phanon will probably get future best in slot teammate support that will make him better at lower investment or something. Like that's basically the break teams versus Acheron currently. So I think it's a lot likelier that the phase shao of 3.x, where like this is a unit stronger than the other two before it by a decent margin, probably Heislands? She matches Fei Shao's kind of release. It would either be Heislands or probably Cyrene. That's a terrible argument, Irokumata. Like, if we apply your exact same logic, Jiao buffs aren't really that niche. He works with counter break and old spammers, but Tribi when RMC exists, I don't think so. This is literally like saying, why pull Zhao when Pela can do a worse job but still do decent? Like, and not to mention, Zhao is a niche nihility, while Tribi is a harmony that can be put in any comp in the entirety of the game. Like, they're not comparable in the slightest. I'm going to be honest. Like the only time, literally the only case scenario where Zhao Q might be a better pull than Tribby is like his E4. And I think most people aren't exactly pulling for E4 Zhao Q. Oh, wait, no, it's not E4. It's his E6. Yeah, it's his E6, which starts giving res pen. So E6 Zhao Q, you can maybe make an argument for, but everyone else, not really. The difference between Zhao Q and Pela is higher than RMC and Tribby for Acheron is the thing. Outside of Acheron, Zhao Q isn't really that, like, no, not really. Like, he's better than Pela, but that's because he's a limited, and it's not by, like, a crazy margin. Like, he's just not worth pulling for in the slightest. Tribby is completely universal to every single team in this game, and she is the best value harmony that this game has currently, not even including her E1. It's nowhere near remotely the same. Like, if it weren't for me wanting to pull Zhao Q for my Acheron on my main account, I would never recommend anyone pull that guy at all. Complete fucking waste of Jades if you're not pulling him for Acheron. I don't think Tribby is going to do well in the long term. Maybe. The thing is, in AoE content, Tribby is always going to have an advantage over any other support in the game. And for Herta specifically as well. But Tribby just has more value than, like, it's not the same thing. It's just not the it's not the same thing. Because Tribby's currently the strongest harmony in the game. And harmonies are completely different to nihilities. Yeah, I agree, but the thing is, Hunt meta is just a temporary meta. So the second it goes away from Hunt meta and it goes back to AoE stuff, like it's the same thing with Acheron versus Fei Shao, right? Or Acheron and Firefly versus Fei Shao. Acheron was looking pretty sloppy, right? She was looking pretty ass the second we started getting Hunt content. And then the second we started getting AoE content again, she no like she just is better than Fei Shao. So I don't really get like the argument of like, oh, for a few patches Tribby will be ass and not be in meta, but when it goes back to meta, she's once again one of the strongest harmonies in the game. Like, that's not a bad pull, you know what I'm saying? Zhao Q also has a niche. The difference is he's necessary in his niche. Tribby is not necessary in her niche right now. But I've already said it before. There are videos of E1S1 Robin. Okay? This is the strongest E1 character in the entirety of the game. And she is losing, even with all her action advance, her res pen on her E1, to an E0S0 Tribby for Herta. Right now, it doesn't matter because there isn't a strong enough sub DPS for Herta that really justifies putting Tribby in there. Until you use someone like Jade or something, right? It's really the only way. But like the future value when the endgame gets harder and the newer characters are better and Herta takes longer to clear, you'll notice a lot more that Tribby makes a big difference. I don't put Eidolons and Sig on my takes. I'm not putting Eidolons and Sig either. I am literally giving the benefit of the doubt and comparing an E0S0 Tribby to an E1S1 Robin and telling you that Robin loses to Tribby for Herda. So, like, in what case scenario do you see that the second strongest harmony in the game losing at E1S1 to E0S0 and say Tribby isn't strong enough in her niche? Robin is because she isn't niche, she works on hyper carry. But Robin does have a niche with the follow up attackers. Sure, she's pretty general because she buffs attack, but like, she is mainly there for follow up attackers. That's her main niche. Like, I can use this same fucking argument for when Jiaoqiu first released. Because when Jiaoqiu first released, we didn't have crazy MOCHP inflation. It wasn't until after Fei Xiao's patch in 2.6 that the HP inflation started going up by a good amount. So, when Jiaoqiu released, you did not need Jiaoqiu at all. The top bosses in the endgame modes still only had like 1 million something health. And that's free as shit for Acheron to kill. Right? That's easy as shit for Acheron to kill. That's why so many people were fine with skipping Jiaoqiu. Oh, he isn't strong enough in the niche. I don't need to pull him because I'm already clearing endgame content just fine. And then you start going into content where like Acheron is no longer shield and HP inflation is getting higher. And now it's like, oh, when is Xiaoqiu getting reran? I really want to pull Xiaoqiu for my Acheron because she's struggling to clear endgame. Tribby's not going to be any different. Like, Tribby does more damage than Robin. She gives 30% vulnerability plus 24% res pen. She does her own, like, follow ups, generating energy for the Herda. And then if you run her on DDD, she's also giving some type of action advance. It's like, switch to Ling Shao while you run. Branya in second. Yeah, but Iroku Mata, there isn't a sub DPS for Herda right now. That is the issue. She is a Emanator who is supposed to give her entire team an 80% crit damage buff when another erudition on field. But currently, Jade is meh. She's good, but she's nothing crazy. And then Anoxa is currently not in V3 yet. So they can genuinely change Anoxa drastically. If they just make Anoxa, right? If Anoxa starts doing the same amount of damage as Jade, then Tribby's value goes up even higher than it already is. Like, I don't know what you just admitted as well that Tribby was in first place. Like, I know RMC is better, but that is because there isn't a sub DPS alongside the Herda that can currently be fully taken advantage of. So RMC's buffs can just be, transferred to Herda without an issue. You don't need a sub DPS. But the second there's an actual decent sub DPS in this game, you compare alongside Herda, Tribby is way better than RMC. Point is, outside her niche, Robin has higher pull value than Tribby. She doesn't, though. Like, there's multiple testers who have said that Tribby and Robin are basically like damn near on equal grounds, but that they'd pull Tribby over Robin because she has higher value in every single type of damage over Robin. Like, if you watch Mr. Pokey's review on Tribby versus Robin, like, he talks about this himself. He says he's tested Tribby versus Robin on multiple different teams multiple times, and that the performance between the two overall is incredibly similar. But that he prefers Tribby because Tribby does have overall higher value in every single team mode in this game. Like, and this isn't like only Mr. Pokey. This is like almost every leaker and like other content creators who have access to the test server. Like, all of them have said that Tribby is basically better value than Robin. Yeah, Ling Cha was one of the best investments I ever made in this game. Like, I'd also like to mention the performance I get with my Serval with Tribby on my ult account wouldn't be anywhere near the same level if I was using Robin on my ult account with my Serval. And that is with my E1S1 Robin. E0 Tribby was better with Serval because the ult allowed Tribby to get her follow up off more often. Like, I was genuinely having a lot better of a time using E0 Tribby than E1S1 Robin with my Serval. Maybe an SP unfriendly like Dill, okay, but others? I don't know what to tell you, man. You don't want to see the truth. There's no point. You just don't want to see the truth, man. It's fine. I mean, you can think that. It's completely fine, but like every single gameplay and the opinions of a lot of people, it simply does not add up to Robin is a better pull than Tribby at all. If anything, it's the opposite. No, I agree. Robin's team wide action advance, but like the problem is DDD Tribby. Like, this is where the issue comes in. If you just have good enough relic investment, DDD Tribby can still be completely fine with the action advance on ult, which like it doesn't make up for Robin, right? But Tribby has her own way better damage than Robin in the first place, and the follow-up attacks, and the res pen, and the vulnerability, and the ability to work with every type of damage in the game. The value with Tribby's damage doesn't exist anymore. No, that isn't true. That isn't true at all. I'm using DDD Tribby on my ult account with completely half-assed relics and against 5 mobs. Like, on ult, my Tribby sometimes hits near, what, like 100k on her ult, and then follow-up attacks with 5 mobs on field is like 60 to 70k. And that's with my ult account Tribby, which has like multiple only plus 12 relics, complete shit crit damage on them. Like, Tribby still does good damage even if you run her on DDD. Like, more than Robin by a noticeable amount. DDD you can very well use on other support. Yeah, but the only other support that can use DDD as well as Tribby is Sparkle. And Sparkle is straight up worse than Tribby. So this is a pretty ass argument. Because, like, you'd obviously just use your DDD on the support that's better overall, which would be Tribby. Yeah, Tribby as well does have additional damage. And I also think it is something that needs to be talked about is if you pull an E0 of Tribby, you can then get her E1 on a rerun. I do think that is important to talk about because the value that E1 gives to a person's account is absolutely massive. Any AA can use DDD to be on. Yeah, but the point is Tribby can take advantage of it the most because her other free to play options aren't the best. And because she's able to get ult very easily. Like even easier than Tingyan in some cases, depending on what teams you're running. Well, yeah, that's just Yui Rokumata, but like if you look at the statistics for like Pride Win, when they're comparing like E0S0 characters or E0S1 plus Eidolons, more people have Eidolons on older characters than they have them at E0S0. So people are willing to invest like an extra Lycone or Eidolon on a rerun. More people are compared to people just only pulling E0S0s. Yeah, like and that is the best value E1 in the entirety of the game. Bronya LC is totally usable, brother. Why are we relying on a standard? My main account is from 1.0. I don't have a single Bronya Lycone on this account. Saying that if you pull like 1 out of 14 of an item from the standard banner, like like I feel like it's a lot more weird to compare a Bronya Lycone to like an S3 DDD. Like obviously an S3 DDD is just way more obtainable. No, Sunday's S1 is the best value Lycone in the game. 1 out of 10? Isn't it worse? Because every single standard banner unit has a I'm pretty sure every standard banner unit has one, and I think there's 7. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Yeah, and each one has a Lycone. So it's 1 out of 14. Like for I got lucky on Rob. Rob's first standard banner 5-star was the Bronya Lycone. So I got lucky on Rob there. But like most people they wouldn't get that. I have S2 Clara. I have an S4 Clara Lycone. Uh yeah. Nice, son. Funny thing I have is 2 of Bronya's Lycone, but only S1 DDD. Yeah. Like, Gacha is very random, man. It's very random. Can get really unlucky or just average luck, get a few DDDs here and there. I mean, Iroku Mata, the thing is, like, your take is, like, pretty bad. Because it basically goes against Like, anyone who's actually seen or used Tribby in any type of gameplays. Like, Tribby is just always better value than Robin in most cases. Like, that's kind of the issue. Like, you can say Robin and Tribby are similar in pull value, and like they kind of are, but Tribby is just overall better. It's like, it's not even like a hard thing to see. I don't see any value to Tribby in my account. I mean, that's fine. But the thing is that she is better than Robin, which you're saying she wasn't. You said Robin was better overall, but she just is better than Robin. I also pulled for Sparkle. Oh, so you pulled the most meta harmony in the game. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So because you pulled for Sparkle, and she's the most meta harmony in the game, you have no need for Tribby. I see. I see. You could have just said that at the beginning of Rokomana, and I would have understood. Yeah, there's no need for another Quantum Harmony on this on his account. Clearly, no issue with theirs. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Sparkle. Yeah, true, true. Sparkle gives Cypher with her ult, very clearly implying that she will be Cypher's best in slot harmony. Obviously. And Cypher will be the strongest DPS in the game. Just pull both. Uh, I remember there were some crazy leaks for Ling Shaw like a few weeks ago that were very clearly fake, right? Don't get me wrong, but I think they were trying to say something like Ling Shaw would be the first limited character that could change paths or some shit like that. And I was like, holy shit, the Ling Shaw hype is getting a little too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that crazy. I remember seeing that leak on Twitter. Yeah. I feel like anything about either limited characters being free or limited characters getting a buff or like new path or anything like that, I never believe it. And it's almost always never correct. So like, yeah, I just always assume that, to be honest. What do you mean Linkshaw is her? I mean, I'm not saying she isn't, but being the first limited character to change paths is, you know what I'm saying? It's a bit different of a story. It's been weeks since you stopped glazing Ling Shaw. Can you blame me? Like, I still think Ling Shaw is absolutely exceptional. Like, she's one of the best sustains, period, for casters currently. But the problem is Hyacinth. Like, this is the first 3 X sustain. Apparently, she does damage. Likely the fastest sustain in the game with the best healing in the game. Like, Are we like? I'm not gonna lie. I think the queen is gonna have her crown taken soon, man. She just got power crept by Barbara. Like, what can you do about that? Yeah, she isn't even abundant. She's remembrance. The random bullshit go path. Like, oh my goodness. Probably gonna have a better light cone too. You know what? Fuck it. Just to power creep Ling Sha, make Hyacinth's E1 increase outgoing healing by 50%, and then reduces the defense of all enemies that are broken by like 25%. Just to fucking like, you know, power creep the E1 a little bit, you know? Rub it in. I pulled Ling Sha for Herda. I mean, then you're good, though. To be honest, pulling Ling Sha for Herda, if you have either Adventure. No, Avon, yeah, probably Avon. I was about to say Huo Huo, but like, Huo Huo is like on the lower tier between Avon and Ling Sha. No, I know Ling Cha's E1 is pretty crazy. I wonder if I've been thinking about this like recently, although I haven't talked about it, but I wonder what like Hyacinth's E1 would look like cuz I'm curious like whether or not the E1 or the S1 would be better for her. The S1 is already looking very broken for Hyacinth, but if there's like an equally good E1, then that could be pretty crazy. I don't even know what Ling Sha's E2 is. I only ever remember her E1. Increases all allies break effect by 40% after using ultimate. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's nothing crazy compared to the E1, but that's pretty good. To be fair, the entire like Firefly team E1 is like pretty dumb. Like in all honesty. Like you use Firefly E1, no longer consume skill points and ignore some defense. Ling Shot E1, reduce defense when broken, increase weakness break efficiency. And then Fugue E1, which also increases weakness break efficiency, which, you know, you can use Ruame plus Fugue, but you can also just use like Harmony Trailblazer plus Fugue this way. Because then you're basically getting the same value as if you had Ruan Mei. Not the same, right? Not the same, but close. Like basically, Ruan Mei doesn't become necessary at all in the team if you manage to get like every E1. E1 Firefly should be in the main kit. I mean, kinda, but I mean they did the same thing with Herda if you really think about it. Herda is a little more accessible because it's on her Lycone, but like they just really like selling the solution to skill point hungry DPSs these days through either a Lycone or Eidolon. The thing is, well, actually no. I guess for Ling Sha, her E1 100% shouldn't be in her base kit, because then DPS Ling Sha would just completely take over Firefly. Oh yeah, same TJ. I do not want to fucking pull Tribby, then My Day, then Castris, and then Hyacine. Like, holy shit, that would have been a pain in the ass. Hello, Rice. I can't wait for the 2025 yearly Doc character. Yup. I'm sure you can't wait for Heislands, man. In 3.5, who cough cough probably won't work with Kafka and Black Swan. I've seen a lot of people angry about this, but I've already made my argument before of why I think it's fine for Kafka and Black Swan to not work with Heislands. Because they did the same exact shit with Blade. And I genuinely think that specifically for like Kafka and Black Swan, this is better for any new players getting into Dot. I ain't angry because I only use Kafka and Swan and DU and genuinely have fun with them. Yeah. I genuinely don't think it's a bad thing that we're not getting like some dedicated support in three like Jing Yuan did with Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure Heislands is supposed to be a main DPS anyways, and she apparently does Kafka and Swan's job by herself, implying that you'd probably just want to give her action advance with like Sunday or some shit instead of using Kafka or Black Swan. I mean, I don't think she'll be good. Like, I think it'll be fine, but like, I imagine Sunday plus Robin with a Heislands would be just like significantly better than what's it called? Like either Kafka or Black Swan are both on the team. Like I imagine that just like every other support option for Heislands would end up being better with action advance and stuff. Yeah, I did, Rice. Talked about it earlier. I don't think it's really that crazy of a change, but it is like a half decent change, but I don't think I'll change it to like limited characters unless they include version 2 characters, which I don't think they will. So because of that, they're likely only going to include version 1 limiteds, and I'd rather just get to E6 standard 5 stars so I can get like that character item for the new shop instead. Ruan May needs to be there or it sucks. I mean, she probably will be there, but like even then, like I just don't think it's worth it, man. Like you have a 1 out of 7 chance of actually getting Ruan May. Like I'd rather like this is just me personally, right? But I get the feeling that the character shop with the currency you can use to exchange will probably have better limiteds than the 50-50 loss pool. So I'd rather, me personally, I'm just going to keep it on the standard characters and keep getting more Eidolons on these standard characters to hopefully get some of them E6 in the future. And then I'm able to trade that for like any limited character I want. Topaz and Ruame are the only good 1.x characters. Am I wrong? I mean, even Topaz is kind of like eh. Like I don't see much reason for pulling Topaz these days. Cause I mean the videos are out there, In some cases, a March 7th is better than a Topaz. So I just don't think Topaz is all that. And even Ruan Mei. Ruan Mei is probably the best value unit in the entirety of version 1. And even she doesn't have like a crazy amount of value in the game currently. Not that she's bad by any means. She's actually like a usable or alternative to Tribby in the duo DPS Casters and My Day team currently. But it's like nothing that crazy. Nice, Rice. She's still T0, T0.5. Yeah, but that's mostly just because she's a team buffer. Like, and her break niche. Like, if we don't include the break niche, then she goes down probably to like tier 1 in most scenarios. Like, the value of a team buffing Harmony is just incredibly high, guys. Like, it's not, I'm not saying Ruan Mei is bad by any means, but compared to like Tribby, Robin, Sunday, like the value isn't really close to those three. Caster is Hyacine, E2S1 Max, E0S1. That's my poll plan. What's yours? Acheron and Jiaoqiu rerun in 3.2. I'm using my guarantee to get my Acheron to E2 because I have her E1S1. And then I'm going to try and get Jiaoqiu so that I can have both Emanators E2S1. And after that, I'm not pulling anyone except for maybe Tribby rerun or limited supports that are really good. And then for Rob, probably Castris and then Phanon. Yeah, I saw that, Rice. I don't believe it for a second. Yeah, Mariah. I saw E1 Tribby on our Rappa team, which was interesting for sure. Sparkle is better than Sunday because Sparkle ult buffs all your allies while Sunday only buffs one. You're right, Irokumana. You're completely right. I can't believe I didn't think of this before. Wow. Thank you for enlightening me. When do you think we'll get another 4-star? Uh, I actually have zero clue. It's weird because Rekka was originally supposed to be 3.2. Then he got moved to 3.3. And now some of the leakers are saying that they don't even know if Rekka will release in 3.3. And that it's seeming like Hoyo might end up making Rekka an actual limited. So, like, I genuinely am lost. We might go an entire year without a new 4-star. Which is pretty insane to think about. Nice, Irokumata. Should I get E1 Tribby for Castris or E0K? E0 is fine, but like, I wouldn't even pull Tribby for Castris if she's only at E0. Like, I'd rather just use RMC. Or I guess you can use like RMC plus Tribby or Tribby plus Sunday, but I don't know. Like, yeah, E0 Tribby is fine on a Castros team, but E1 Tribby for sure adds way more value to casters. I'd even go as far as to say like E1 Tribby is probably more important than Caster's E1 or E2. I'm stuck using HMC. I wasn't able to pull Fugue. Rip. Still no leaks about another Firefly SMH. Uh, I mean, we didn't get any leaks about another Firefly, but I remember there being something about, I think, Firefly possibly getting a skin and her own personal event in the future. I don't remember the exact details on that though. Oh, the event was a lie? I see. How about E1 Tribby and S1 Castris though? Yeah, that's the best case situation. E0 S1 Castris because every other free to play Lycone option is complete shit. And then E1 Tribby because E1 Tribby helps her out a lot in situations where there's like a very high health boss or there just isn't that many mobs on field. Because Castris is pure AoE. Oh, which one is better? Obviously E1 Tribby. Because that's a harmony you can slot in any future team. And in terms of damage increase overall, it's honestly like similar. If not, E1 Tribby slightly beats it in most case scenarios. I'm not gonna pull Castris. The dragon is hard carrying her basic skin. I mean, I don't think Castris is bad, right? Like a lot of people make out Castris to be like a mid design. I don't really think she's a mid design. I just think a lot of other characters in this game have exceptional designs. Like I really love My Day, and the leak for I'm not gonna obviously show it, but a certain form of Phanon is looking like the probably the best design in the entirety of the game. So like compared to those two, character wise, Castris is worse. But yeah, the dragon basically makes up for it in my opinion. Yeah, not to mention it's also subjective for a lot of people, right? Like for me, a big factor in me for pulling a character is coolness. Like there's a lot of people who will pull for a character that maybe they just like, right? Maybe they're woman or men only account or they like cute girls or whatever, right? Like everybody has their own subjective like opinions on what's a better pull design wise. And for me it's just how cool a character looks. So like people like My Day, Phanon, Aventurine, like all of those guys, like they seem more badass to me. Or Acheron, yeah, Acheron. Acheron is like one of the few women in this game that I find like really badass next to like Fei Shao. Fei Shao and Acheron. I mean, that's why I own them, right? That's why I own them. That's why I have Fei Shao and Acheron on this account. Acheron design is not that good. I don't agree. I don't agree at all. Especially considering how her design changes in her old state. What kind of boots is that? I mean, I don't know. It's just whatever she wants to wear. Everybody in this game has weird ass clothes. Like, Ruan Mei isn't even trying to hide nothing. Same with Himiko. I don't know about Robin. Like everybody in this game has like pretty shitty. Like the only people who really wear pants are the men, and then every girl, or not every girl, I guess, but like every girl has like some type of like unique accessories on them. Like Kafka, I guess Kafka and Black Swan are kind of like the most covered up in the leg area. Fei Xiao has like that one thing. Ron, yeah, a lot of the older characters are way more covered up than the newer ones. I kind of just realized that. Never mind. Fushuan just completely threw my fucking thing out the window. And then Seal. Thighs, thighs, thighs. Nice. Ling Sha is the queen even in designs. I'm not gonna lie. Outside of like how Ling Sha looks, I think like the red in her hands and like her legs and foot, like this for sure adds appeal in my opinion. Like this part of her, if she just had like completely normal skin, like I don't think I'd fuck with her design as much. I think the red adds a lot. Same with the bunny. I would never replace you, Tuspir. I heard that we're finally gonna get like other playable pets, but none of them even come close to Tuspir. None of them come close. This is the OG. Nah, I didn't see it, Zen. Nummy is the OG. Fuck Numby. He's tied to Topaz. Fuck Nummy, man. His big ass ears. This is the real one. Tuspier is so stupid. You can't even make him drown in Amphorius. Is it here? Ooh, I think this water isn't high enough. Lingshaw rerun when? Last patch. The water isn't high enough. Hmm. I don't think I can find any water deep enough. Fuyuan pet would be sick. I agree. Okay, I do think a Fuyuan pet would be 100% better than anything we have. But I don't think they'll add that is the thing. You're using low res water? Okay, so I don't want to up the graphics on my game because if I do, then the 120 FPS that I altered it to will go down to 60. And 60 FPS hurts my eyes. Mm, 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 mm. Fuiwan is the bunny from Ling Sha. S- 60 FPS is good. How does it hurt your eyes? It's one of those things that like you just never understand until you consistently experience it. So my phone's on 120 FPS, my iPad's on 120, my PC's on like 144, and I run every game at 140 FPS. So the second I go down, it just feels like shit. Yeah, exactly. Like this same thing happened to me as a kid, and I used to be confused by it because my uncle's a gamer, and I used to always think 60 FPS was fine. Like 60 FPS and 120 FPS, what could be the difference, right? I think people are over exaggerating. And then I visited my uncle who had like obviously like 240, which is higher than anything I even currently have as a kid. And when I went back to play on my PlayStation console as a kid, it literally looked like the game was freezing and I was confused. Like I came back to my house after visiting my uncle, and when I played, it looked like my game was lagging and freezing. However, that was just my eyes that have adjusted to 240 FPS. 30 FPS for life? I could never, man. I could never. Pro got debuffed? I did. It took me a few days. Like when you first experience 240 FPS and if you're like on it for a few hours, when you go back to 60, it literally takes you like a few days to actually get used to it again. Like your eyes have to get used to not seeing as fast anymore. I'm not sure if that's how it works then. I don't know. Because the thing is, like, real life is already, like, technically high FPS. So it's really hard to say, like, how much of a difference it makes in, like, actual real life. They make, like, 600 hertz monitors now. Yeah, like, that's a bit overkill. I will say, going from, like, 140 to 240 is a lot less of a noticeable difference than 60 to like 120 or 140, right? It's still noticeable, don't get me wrong, but even that is like you're kind of getting to the point where it's not mattering all that much. And then the next leap I think is like 360. That's probably where most people would stop feeling like anything actually different is 360. And then recently they've released like 600 hertz, which I think that's literally a gimmick. Like, I don't think there's any human on the planet who can probably feel that, like, like barely at all. You know what I'm saying? I will leave. Remember when Hyacin releases, I will be doom posting her. Alrighty, Rokumata. Hope you have a good day or good night. Thanks for stopping by. Nah, then Alright, guys. I will end the stream here because I don't think. I mean, if anybody read the title, it kind of says short stream. And usually a short stream for me is like an hour. And I didn't realize that it's already been three. So I appreciate you all stopping by. I haven't eaten all day. It is currently 7 p.m. No breakfast, no lunch, no dinner. So I am gonna finally eat something, you know? Yay! Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace. Oh, wait. The day before this, or the stream before this, I said Sparkle Feet because the chat was talking about Sparkle Feet. And then the last stream I talked about Phenon and My Day. So today will be the Holy Trinity. The sentence of the day will be Sparkle Feet and then Phenon My Day. Hope you have a